Welcome back, traders and investors. We have Sarah Potter on the line. She's an options and futures trader, runs her own website, and has written a book called How to Trade Like a Pro. So, how you doing today, Sarah?
I'm great, thanks. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We just had a lively discussion with our previous guest, Harlan Pine, all about trends and just trying to see whether or not this is just a healthy correction in a long-standing bull market, or perhaps there's been a change in trend. How have you been viewing this sell-off in the market, and have you been able to take advantage of it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It really is a great week, I think, to be trading. Certainly, yesterday we were all watching the market to see whether, were we really having this hard sell-off. But I think what's important to notice is right now we're at key levels, obviously, right? If you look on the weekly chart of the ES, we're sitting at really important levels. So I'm kind of anxious for the market to open to see what's going to happen here. Particularly what I'm paying attention to in terms of trying to find opportunities to trade is I don't know if you guys have talked about it yet, but for a long time, bonds was kind of moving up. It was moving in the same direction as the broad market.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a long time we were all saying like, this should be reverse, and how come bonds aren't selling off as we see the markets go up? But now what we're seeing is the bonds are moving down, and it almost looks like the markets have corrected. So the markets are now kind of all aligned. So I think that's a good indication to say, you know what, I think there's going to be a little bit more sell-off that we're going to see this week.
So, what do you like to look at off the open? You said that you are you look. Do you like to take a level in a stock, like pick a support level, see how it opens up, take a shot off the open? Are you following the S&Ps? Are you watching the momentum stocks? What, like when that bell goes off at 9:30? Are your eyes what are your eyes focused on?
Yeah, I would probably call myself a bit more of a conservative trader than maybe some others. So at 9:30, my hands are actually off the screen. So my eyes are on the screen, but my hands are off the trigger to actually place any trades. So you're not going to see me in the market until usually about 10 o'clock. I
Hmm.
usually let the flurry kind of happen at 9:30. To me, that's just not higher probability opportunities. I wait till things kind of settle down. Around 10 is where I'm entering.
Okay, yeah. There's sometimes there's not much liquidity off the open. So you wrote a book called "How to Trade Like a Pro," and what inspired you to write that book, and what are just going over the book. What are some of the most important things readers should take from that book?
Yeah, I wrote the book How You Can Trade Like a Pro because I wanted to give an opportunity for people who wanted to get into the market for themselves to learn how to trade. And when I started trading, because I don't come from a financial background, I'm someone who was in the trenches learning it and figuring all things out and then kind of moving from part time to now trading full time. I wanted to write something so that if people wanted to get started, this is where they could start. And I've been very open in my book, and I kind of wish this was the book that was out there and existed when I started trading. It details kind of everything you need to kind of get started, as well as I'm very open about my exact, like step by step, how do I trade futures and how do I trade options? How do I look at charts? Like I really just open up and explain this is what I'm doing. And I think the unique part about me as well is I am a trader, but my background was in adult learning and education. So I think I'm really the only one out there who actually is qualified and certified to actually teach. I have a master's of education in adult learning theory, and I'm a very successful trader. So I think this book is kind of very unique and a great opportunity for anybody who is either looking to kind of learn to how to start trading and trying to figure that out, or they're really just looking to refine their trades.
And I think when we had you on last time, when we were talking about the options, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were a little bit more inclined to sell the options, right, than to try and buy them. You tried to take in the decay, or am I incorrect on that?
Yeah, that's right. So I do both. Like I love to sell spreads. I think that's a great bread and butter type strategy to trade. But certainly, I mean, everybody needs to have some other strategies as well to really beef up their account. So I definitely buy puts and calls, and especially now that the market's really moving, these are great opportunities to be getting into some directional trades. But as I said, for me, what I'm doing is just kind of waiting for things to settle a little bit. Let's see whether we sell off. And then you're going to see me today in some option strategies that are more directional.
And for the options, are you? I mean, I know those weekly options are enticing, because they're very volatile. But do you try the weeklies at all, or are you more inclined to go a little bit farther out, give yourself a little bit more time?
I love weeklies. I don't understand why more people don't do it, quite honestly. I think it's a great opportunity to trade. You take advantage of what's happening in those stocks week after week, and you cash out of it week after week. So, sometimes people buy these really long options and they're holding it for a long time, and one day it's up, one day it's down. Like, those are paper profits. For me, with weekly options, you're getting into your strategy and you're cashing out on Friday, and then if you like it the next week, you do it again. If things have changed, well, you just change your strategy. So that way you're just more fine-tuned to what's actually happened in the market. So weeklies are my favorite for sure.
Okay, so we're into Wednesday. We've had a nice sell off here. Are there any setups that you're looking in individual stocks, either for puts or calls here? And today,
Yeah.
because a lot of the right, because it's Wednesday, right? And I've even noticed when I'm trading some of these options, like even if you wait, like today's like Wednesday, and obviously there's 2 days left to expiration. Sometimes in the last 5 minutes the stock won't even move and they'll just zap 10 15 cents a premium right out of it. So there's some good opportunities there, kind of like to take advantage of that time decay. But what potential setups are you looking at?
Yeah. So, and actually, today I'm actually doing a live free open house today on my website on She Can Trade. If anybody wants to see me actually trading, I opened up my room today just because it's such a good day in the market. So anyone's welcome to come to shecantrade.com today and see me trade live. But some actual ones that I'm watching today to look for potential setups. To me, a great one is FFIV. If you pull up
Okay.
your charts on FFIV, even though we've been seeing this huge sell-off, to me, I'm looking for stocks that are still holding up nicely, and it still has a really nice trend. And I actually think that today will be a nice opportunity to get into it to the long side. Again, looking at weekly options. So
Okay, so you are just bucking the trend on the overall market. Sometimes when the market's falling like this, I can't buy calls on anything. But that's good. It's had a pullback, couple volatile sessions here. This stock is a mover, so you're looking at a pullback, maybe like to the 112 level. I see that little bit below that, 111.50 and 111.17. So you're going to try and use the market sell off to help get your calls a little bit cheaper.
absolutely, and I'll be buying stuff that are deep in the money for this. But yeah,
Really?
I would love the whole idea of the broad markets really pulling back. So that might help FFIV, and that's just it's just waiting for me to get in.
How deep in the money do you go?
Well, it really depends. Like I'm looking at the options chain and reading it and kind of seeing what's happened. But I probably for FFIV, I really be paying attention to the delta and looking for something kind of in between the 65 and 75 range of delta to help me make my decision about how deep in the money I'm really going to go.
Okay. And is there anything that's looking tasty on the short side for you? Something you like to buy some puts?
You know what? I don't have anything on the put side. Another one though that I like is CMG, and that my room
Oh.
and all of us got into on yesterday it was, and it's held up really nicely. Even though things have pulled back just a little bit, it still looks really nice. So, and I guess I probably should preface that my overall view, even though we're pulling back now, is I still think that we are moving to the long side of the market, and this is just a pullback. My profit, like I still think that in the ES we're going to move up and hit 2,000. So I guess there's a bit of my bias here when I'm looking for individual trades. I'm right now just looking for things that are still holding up nicely, and those are opportunities for entries, and then getting into them.
And I saw you still think we're gonna rally 100 points here, trading near the 1900 level in the S&Ps. What is level in the S&Ps? I like to look at the futures. What would you say? What would make you say, "Wow, I don't think we're going. I don't think we're going back up to the all-time highs." What it would make it more inclined to think that we were going to 1800. What would change your sentiment?
Well, I mean, I think today is going to be crucial. On the weekly charts, the ES is really hovering around that 21 EMA support level, so certainly be paying attention to that. If that holds around that level, then I definitely think that we're just going to see another bounce up. But what I'm doing too is really paying attention, just like you, the futures, what's happening in the NASDAQ, in the ES, and the Dow. And if you look kind of at all three and pay attention to them, I think that there's more strength in the NASDAQ right now. So now what I'm doing is kind of trying to compare these broader markets and say, which one is leading which. And so that's why I think it's going to be a really exciting day today in the market. Right now I think we're at key levels. So I guess if things really broke today and really started selling off, maybe come and talk to me next week about my sentiment. But for now, I think right now this is just a pullback, and we'll see things continue to resume to the upside.
Okay, and just going back to like your trading strategies, what futures do you trade?
I like whatever futures are looking good. Right now, I like gold. I think there's some really great opportunities there. And before today or yesterday, I do free videos on futures. And on Monday, I was like, oh, I love ES to the long side. So to be quite honest, I have to admit on the futures side, I am just sitting and watching. I won't be getting into futures trades today just because I like to see, like I said, I'm waiting for that level.
Okay.
But if you wanted to pick a market, I think gold's a good opportunity right now.
Yeah, gold is
Futures.
flying here up
Yeah.
2110.
Yeah.
Looking at let's see here, it just continued, got back over the $1,300 level. Let me just grab a level here for our traders to take a look at if they're on the long side here. Really, things open up to 1314.60. That was a high on July 29. Still another $8 away from here, but gold is on the move. Have you ever shorted the S&P futures?
Oh yeah, and again, when I'm doing futures trades, those are more intraday trades. I'm
Okay.
just kind of getting in and getting out. And my specific strategies are detailed in the book. If people are interested in kind of what I'm doing, I lay them out. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. This is exactly what I'm looking for, and this is what I'm doing. So those are shorter term in and out trades, and then my options are more swing strategies. I'm getting in like Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're expiring Friday.
Okay, and so trying to play the weekly options, throwing a few futures in there. When you're trading the options, are you pretty much like picking a lot? Like you're gonna say, I'm gonna pay 60 cents for this, and if it goes to zero, it goes to zero, and I'm looking for a buck 80. Or is it something where, similar to trading stocks or futures, you'll have an entry point and then you'll, get yourself out if it goes a certain amount against you?
That's a good question. It probably depends on the strategy that I'm using. So I definitely believe in the adage of, you want to always keep your trades small and you want to trade more often. And I like the idea of, not risking too much of your account per trade. So I'm in lots of different trades, especially in options. I think that's better to diversify your risk. Um, so when I'm doing spreads, I'm probably paying more attention to what's happening in the charts to help me decide whether I need to exit. And with my directional trades, when I'm like buying the call or the put, then I'm probably paying more attention to price and saying, you know what, this is my point where no, I need to get out. But at the same time, I should probably preface that there's a difference between how I trade now and when I first started. When I first started, and I think for all beginners out there, you need really firm lines on when are your stop loss, when are you actually getting out. And I think as you get better and better, you can be a little bit more lenient about that. But it's just so important. Remember, for everybody, trading is a marathon. It is not a sprint, and you want to be building up that account over a long period of time. So you need to make sure that you're not letting something go too far and it really hurting your account. We all want to be in here for the long term.
Do you have like a good story from your early trading that you maybe had lost a lot of money, but it taught you a valuable lesson in the long term?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all do. Unfortunately, I do. And I in the book, I've done a lot of like Sarah stories and just really kind of sharing openly about a lot of the things that I've learned along the way. And I think the biggest one, and that was one day when I was trading futures, and I actually had a really great day of trading futures. And what happened is, and I think a lot of people getting started is when they have, you have a great trade in the ES and you get out for a great profit, and then you get in again an hour later, and then you get out for a great profit. Don't go back to the trough too many times. Because what happened to me by the end of the day, I just thought this was so great. I had lost sight of actually collecting good evidence from the market and was just more excited about making money that I ended up losing all of the money that I made that day from the last trade that I made. You got to learn when things are good and you've made your profits to walk away sometimes. And you don't want to go back to the trough too many times, or else really, you're going to lose everything you've worked so hard for. So that would be my biggest lesson for everybody. Always be collecting good evidence from the market when you're making your decisions to place your trades, and you don't get overexcited about looking at your profit. Really, just always be going back to the collecting evidence. Is it a good opportunity to get back in? Yes or no?
Okay. All right. We've had Sarah Potter on. She's an options and futures trader. She's the owner of shecantrade.com and also the author of How to Trade Like a Pro, coming on discussing her strategies and her outlook on the market. Thanks a lot, Sarah. We appreciate you coming on the show and like to have you on again soon.
Thanks. Happy trading, everybody.
Okay.